Hey there, everybody. This is Brian Davis, the Construction Solutions Manager here at Toromont Cat, and welcome to today's podcast. Today we're going to speak a little bit about pass matching. And I know you're all sitting there scratching your heads going, huh? What's that mean?
Brian, what's a pass match?
A pass match in our world is basically when you have a bunch of material to move and you want to match up the most efficient loading tool with your hauling unit to move that material in the best, most efficient, cost-effective manner.
That was my guess.
I knew
Wire
that
dance.
So the reality is, guys, you're in the world of moving material. So you want to be able to do it as fast as you can, as productive as you can, and put as much money in your pocket. Poor pass matching will cost you money. You're going to have equipment that sits idle. If you have the wrong size loading tool, it's going to be sitting there waiting to get loaded. It could be, on the dump end, it could be waiting to dump off because the machine on the dump side can't handle the number of trucks. So pass matching is something that you should take a lot of time to figure out and do well. You're also going to have job site inefficiencies due to lost productivity. If a machine's not big enough to load the trucks fast enough, it's just not doing it at the best cost per ton.
Well, you get some bunching issues and trucks end up all stacked up on one another.
Exactly. Lots of issues. So guys, in our world, we look at a couple of different rules of thumb for proper pass matching. And those are, there's three of them. First of all, it should take you 1 to 2 minutes to load your hauling unit, whether it be an on-highway truck or an off-highway truck. It should take, if you're using a hydraulic excavator, you should be able to load that truck in 4 to 6 buckets or loading cycles, as we call them. If you're using a wheel loader, you want to be able to do it in 3 to 5 loading cycles, obviously, because a wheel loader uses a little bigger bucket than a hydraulic excavator. So those are the three rules of thumb. 1 to 2 minute load time, 4 to 6 loading cycles for excavators, 3 to 5 loading cycles for wheel loaders. So if you're looking for some loading hauling matches, there's all kinds of different combinations out there. But if you're looking at excavators and articulated trucks, if you've got 25 or 30 ton articulated trucks, you're probably going to look at a 336 to a 349 size excavator. When you start getting into the bigger articulated trucks, the 35s and 40s, a configuration of a 349 designed to load those trucks can be built, but you're probably looking more along the lines of the 374 or the 390. That'd be the 74 to 90 ton excavator. They will be able to load those bigger trucks in 3 to 5 cycles. Wheel loaders and articulated trucks, again, if you're looking at 725, 730 size trucks, you're looking at a 950 to 962 size. As you start getting into the bigger trucks, you can upgrade those loaders. A 966, 972 can handle the bigger trucks, but if you want to do it much more efficiently, you're looking at a 980, 988. Those are the ones that are going to bang those trucks out of there in 3 to 4 passes and keep you running efficiently. So just something to keep in mind to live by those rules of thumb. So you might say, all right, well, okay, this is all well and fine, but honestly, what is the effect of a poor pass match? Really, at the end of the day, what's it going to matter? And I ask you to think of it this way. If you had an excavator that takes, say, 8 passes to achieve the target payload in a truck, that excavator would be able to load about 230 trucks in a 10-hour shift. If you have a second excavator, which is maybe a little bit bigger, and can do that same payload in 6 passes, he's going to be able to load about 300 trucks in a 10-hour shift. So when you ask what's the effect of a poor pass match, making do with that smaller machine and a poor pass match is going to equal about a 23% loss in your productivity. So if you're okay with that, well, go ahead. But I would suggest that getting 23% boost in production might be worth your while.
So really, if we looked at this, Brian, as a driving into the job site real quick, it's the rules of thumb, right? Am I loading it in under 2 minutes? And am I targeting with an excavator 4 to 6 passes?
That's a great point. And those are the rules of thumb that really will stick out real quickly. If you sit there and watch a truck get loaded and it takes 5 minutes to load it, you got some questions to ask. If it takes 2 minutes and 5 seconds, you may have a little bit of operator technique training and stuff like that, but that's about it. You're going to tweak. Exactly. One of the questions that Jim and I always get, how big a bucket can I put on this machine? And our answer is, why do you care? Rather than the biggest bucket, think about the right size bucket for the job. Again, if we take a look at a scenario here, we have one excavator, 2 different size buckets. If the first option, the first bucket takes 5 full buckets to fill the truck to target payload, and the second bucket is a little bit bigger, and it takes 4.5 buckets to fill the truck to the same payload, What are your advantages?
Oh, I think I can handle this, Brian. Because a half a bucket, simple fractions means how many times do I have to go back and forth?
That's right. Both options requires 5 passes.
I got that one.
Right? So you're not gaining anything by having a bigger bucket because you still have to go back with a half a pass. Option 1 is going to give you a faster cycle time. It's going to burn less fuel. And in the end, you're going to actually probably move more material because you'll be able to drag that bucket through the dirt easier and quicker. It's a smaller bucket. It's going to be swinging a little less payload per bucket. So think about it in terms of the right size bucket for the job, guys.
Less spillage, kick the trucks out faster, the list goes on.
Absolutely. So when would you consider a bigger bucket? The only time you should really consider it is if it's going to reduce the number of passes. If you can get it from 5 passes down to 4 passes and send that truck, now you've got something to talk about. But be careful, guys, because going from 5 passes to 4 passes will require about 25% more bucket. So you have to make sure that that machine can handle it. You might be able to put that bucket on the machine, but when you load it up, is it going to stand the machine on its nose? That's not going to be a great situation for anybody. So always choose the right bucket for the job. That's all we got today for pass matching. If you have any questions on that, contact your local Toromont machine sales rep or product support sales rep, and we can have a chat, talk to you more about it. Thank you.